All right. Hi, media. I know you all are still getting connected. I want to thank 100 Thieves for joining us this after this game. We'll get started right away. Usual style, please raise your hand in Zoom and I will call on you. And then we'll take questions for about 15, 20 minutes, depending on how many questions there are. So whoever wants to kick it off can go ahead and raise their hand. And the raise your hand button, I think, is in the bottom right-hand corner. Okay. You're not allowed to raise your hand. Anytime now. Yes.
All right. Thanks for coming. We'll see you guys later.
We had a few people just join. Please raise your hands to ask questions. All right, Scott, go ahead.
Guys, congrats on a great run to this tournament and a great year overall. I just want to get a sense of what you guys, this can really be answered by anyone, just your overall impressions of this first year of Valorant Champions Tour. If there's anything specifically positive or negative that sticks out that you want to see come back next year or changed.
Okay, I'll start with the negative and go with the positive. I think some of the tournament decisions, some of the rules, some of the things that I think the general public don't get to see obviously have to change. We've already, we're not the only team that's had these discussions with some people at Riot. We have a pretty open line communication with like Alex Francois in particular. So I expect the VCT tour to, improve. I think given the fact that it's like its first like real year, COVID and all that, I'm sure everybody was a lot more patient than I think will be next year. But overall, there's just some things, player wise, team wise, coach wise that were not very good. As for the positives, obviously, Valorant blew up during the COVID era. I think they did a really good job trying to integrate all the regions. Obviously, they made a very good game. Almost everybody that I know that even plays the game at a casual level adores the game. Every player in here loves the game. So I think moving forward with the addition of game changers and some of these other things that are going to happen probably next year, I think Valorant is in a really good state. I myself consider it easily a top 5 esport. I don't know what everybody else does, but super happy with, I think, the direction they took Valorant overall. I will give, Riot props for the effort that they put into VCT. Obviously for us, it's disappointing we lost, but at the end of the day, we're all here because of Valorant. And I think the game is bigger than we are as a team. So.
All right, let's go to Brandon at Run It Back.
Awesome, thank you. This one's more for Nitro. Stepping into the IGL role now, I just kind of want to hear how you felt you did, or maybe even from your teammates, how they felt you did. Just kind of any critiques or any positives that you're taking away from, kind of your first stint in IGLing with the team.
We've been putting in, I think, probably the most work out of any team. I know every team's going to say that, but I actually feel like it's the case for us. IGLing is like nothing new to me personally, so I hope I did pretty good to my teammates, but I think there's so much to improve on, especially today. I just felt like it was so bad for me. But moving forward, I think I have a better grasp on just the game in general from this tournament. So we'll see what happens like in the next tournament.
I think we all have a lot of faith, obviously, in Nitro. If not, we wouldn't have made the decision. But last year, I think after winning First Strike, I know 100 Thieves and myself, made it like a little petition to Riot about some of these changes. And I do feel like I'm seeing a lot of the problems that I thought would happen kind of surface here. It seems like there's so many ebbs and flows in rounds because there's just so much, I think, to communicate. And a lot of times you see like performance dips, right? It seems like a team is like humming and everything is so good. And then all of a sudden they play in the next series and everything is so bad. And like there's all this talk about sort of like the randomness. And I think that is contributed by the fact that there's so much to account for. This isn't CS. You have to count for ultimates. You have to count for singular abilities. You have to count for money on top of money. You have to count for whether or not the team might be able to have all their abilities, or is their money low? And I feel like there's, from my perspective, there isn't enough support from the coaching side to assist even your players, because sometimes I have to burn a timeout just to remind us about a specific thing. And then all of a sudden you start seeing the matriculation of other problems. And I think it's super unfair for every in-game leader. And I'm positive that if you talk to every single in-game leader in Valorant, I don't know anyone that says they feel super comfortable and they have everything figured out. And I feel like this game is so complex. I think there has to be, a little more assistance. And I don't know whether that's maybe allowing people to communicate more in the buy rounds, or maybe longer timeouts, or maybe additional timeouts. But I think this game has such a large tapestry of tactics that can be employed. And it's just so ridiculous because, the rounds are fast, the games are fast, the teams are super fast. So I would say, I think that any issue anyone might have with, the, in-game leading, comes from the fact that there's so much to retain. So on a personal level, I've been very proud of the way that Nitro has been able to handle not only the new role, but also all the new information that he now has to account for.
All right, we'll go back to Scott.
This question's primarily for Hiko, but I would love to also hear input from anyone else who has any strong opinions on it. What would you want? Is there any significant changes you'd like to see to Valorant as a game, not just esports, over the next few months or maybe over the next year?
Yeah, I think that, coming from both a streamer side and kind of a pro side as well, making sure that the game doesn't become stale as far as maps, agents, but I think most importantly, making sure that when new agents get released, they're not meta breaking or even so oppressive to what the current meta would be, that you're kind of stuck in this weird limbo of like, well, this agent's being released or this map is being released. Everyone knows the map is either bad or the agent is either too good or the agent is too bad, and everyone kind of knows buffs or nerfs are coming, and you're in this weird limbo where you don't really know what to expect. You don't know if this agent's going to be nerfed. You don't know if it's going to be buffed. You assume something's going to happen. So I don't know if they want to go a route like League of Legends or how Dota does it, where they just start throwing out random changes to different agents. I think it would definitely shake up the meta a bit. But I think for agents and maps that get released, more specifically agents, we're right on the cusp of whatever the new agent's name that's going to come out. On the cusp of him about to be released. Like, I think if he comes out in a broken state, like super overpowered, for me, I would rather that be addressed before he's even available for pro play.
Okay, let's go to Dexter. If you're talking, we can't hear you.
Sorry, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Awesome. So this question is primarily for Frost, but the other guys can also chime in on this. Just a few minutes ago, Frost was talking about coaching, specifically with how it works with the IGL role. Now, especially for the CSGO guys, we will know that Valve has taken a stance against coaching in a lot of these high-level competitions. I just want to get your ideas and what your thoughts are on the state of coaching and what changes you would like to have be made for coaching further on in Valorant competitive.
So I don't know. We wrote a pretty significant paper almost to Riot, so I don't want to take up the time to get too intricate into that. I think what I'll say is, and I'll be very honest about this, I feel like when we made the decision with Dicey, for instance, I don't think that was Dicey's fault. if anything, it's kind of more my fault than maybe I think the pressure of like having to win all the time. Because when you win the first major, and then when you're on 100 Thieves, and then when you're playing with Eco and Nitro, there's a certain expectation that comes with that. And I feel like for young players, it is so difficult because, you know, if you talk to, you know, even I remember having a conversation with FNS in Berlin about like Valorant, right? If it's difficult to maintain all of this information and retain all the information and be able to make all these adjustments like mid game and all this stuff, if it's difficult for them, imagine what it is for like, let's say Peter here, right? Asana, right? Incredible player, really smart guy. I feel like this game is so complicated and Riot has this like insistence on wanting to push in the new wave, right? But I feel like with youth also comes ignorance, and with youth comes a lack of education. Those two things don't align very well, right? If the game is really complicated and it's taken to such a level where even the OGs kind of sometimes get lost in the sauce, can you imagine what it's like for a 17, 18, 19-year-old? So it's like we, both as a community, I feel like as players, coaches, obviously, we have to figure out a better way to kind of um, like teach and also prepare. And the API for this game isn't great. I've already had multiple conversations with people at Riot, right? I'm a data guy, and I'll save you the story, but trust me when I tell you that even me, I couldn't use my strength for the last year and a half. I'm having to jerry rig problems or like jerry rig solutions to problems. And I feel like this is a direct byproduct of like two things not being aligned. And then for coaching, like I feel really guilty because even in this last series, even when I have to call a timeout, I have a timeout specific to game planning and what they're doing, but I have to adjust it because I see a mistake and I get 30 seconds to do that. I get 30 seconds for 12 important rounds on each side. And then sometimes when I call a timeout isn't called because there's a discrepancy in an earphone piece or a rule amongst either the rules or the admins. And then it's like, oh, well. So I think that kind of, sucks. I'm sure over time this is going to be fixed and addressed. But for now, I think, it's a very, very difficult game to wrap your head around. And I think we need to help each other more.
Well put, Hector.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, we have time for one or two more questions. Going once, going twice. All right, Matthew, you got in right under the block.
Okay, so sort of going back to the point that you had made, Frost, about this game being so complex, and since we're only just breaching sort of the year and a half mark of this game being out, do you think that over time we're going to be able to like actually I don't want to say comprehend, but more easily take in some of these advanced strategies, especially for top teams like you guys? Do you think it's going to be easier once you've sort of gotten the rounds of understanding like what is good on this map, what is good on different maps, what agents have their strengths and weaknesses, and how those can be sort of, I guess, optimized for, I guess, easier integration into teams when different players come and leave?
Matthew, I mean no disrespect, but we just had our hearts ripped out. I did not mean to hijack this interview process by answering questions. And I definitely would like to hear any of you ask us pertinent questions about the series that we just played. But out of respect, what I'll tell you is that I'm sure if you're really interested in these discussions, I can speak to you afterwards, and or you can reach out to 100 Thieves, and I'm sure they will make me available. But yes, as I said earlier, I definitely didn't have the tools this year for what I've done most of my career. And I'm sure most of you have no idea who I am, but I made very good use of data in the past. And I literally was only using experience and things I've learned from the CS scene from my time in it since 2014. So I personally would like things to be on the API side and on the tech side much more readily available, because I feel like we have a natural advantage because we have experienced players, very talented players, very smart players. And if we had, the mathematical analysis to basically prove some of the claims that I think are true, instead of me having to, manually round by round account for every statistic and then have Excel sheets that have them all and then have to parse the data like that. I feel like, that time is probably better served doing other things.
Well said, and we're glad the dog made an appearance. 100 Thieves, thank you guys so much for joining us. I know it was a really tough day, but you guys had an incredible year, and we really enjoyed working with you and seeing you guys evolve. And I know we'll see you back at your best next year. So take it easy, have a great night, and we'll see you in 2022.
Take care.
Bye.
Have a good night as well.
Bye.
Thank you.
Recording stopped.
We will let Cloud9 in a couple of minutes. Actually, Cloud9 is ready, so we want to get started. We're going to bring them in. They're all together. Hi, Cloud9. You guys, your mics are hot, just so you know. I heard everything you said about us. Oh, oh. Your mom. Okay, I'm going to turn on the recording now, and then we're going to get started.
Recording in progress.
Let's do it. That's right. 12 Pro Max.
All right, 103. Cloud9. Sorry, we just got rid of 100 Thieves. Cloud9. God, I need a nap. Cloud9, congratulations on your big win over 100 Thieves, and making it into the grand final against Rise tomorrow. We have the media here that are going to ask you a few questions for about 15-20 minutes, and then we'll let you go and get ready for tomorrow. So let's kick it off with Brandon from Run It Back.
Congratulations on the huge win, guys. Just a simple question for Vanity. Talk us through that knife through the Astra wall.
I guess I can just use the mic, right? I don't know. I saw it on Reddit or something, and I decided to do it. I got a kill. I did not see anything. No. I mean, that's not why I knifed. I just know he's gonna be sitting there. It's like, where else is he gonna go? These people can't think for themselves. Come on, Kappa.
That play blew up Valorant on social everywhere. Scott, go ahead.
Hey guys, again, congratulations. Obviously, you guys are going to be playing Rise again, second time this tournament. Obviously, without giving too much away, what do you guys plan to do a little bit different way, or what do you expect from them now that you're going to be prepared for them this time around?
I remember the question, bro.
What are we gonna do differently against Rise?
So what we're gonna do differently is this time we're gonna press tab and we're gonna notice everybody on the other side of the team, and we're gonna realize they're dog shit at the game, and then kill them and beat them, and that's about it. Just kidding.
All right. Anyone else want to add to that? Any other questions? Cloud9? Come on, guys, raise your hand. You know how to do it.
Go early, guys. Don't worry about it.
Scott, go ahead.
I guess I guess I'll rephrase that to a little bit better question. What did you guys see the first time around? You guys playing Rise that maybe was something you didn't anticipate out of them that would be something that you're well aware of going into this next series with them.
I don't think it's us like not anticipating anything. I think it's just more of us making individual mistakes and them capitalizing on it a lot of the time. So I think we played ourselves a lot of it, and I think that's why we lost the game. It's not them being the better team, it's just us making the most mistakes we can and losing.
All right, next question. Brandon, go ahead.
Kind of piggybacking off of you mentioned mistakes and everything, I kind of want to hear what happened on Icebox. You guys were down and then you made that huge comeback, but ultimately lost it with those handful of rounds in a row, going to 100 Thieves at the end in overtime. What kind of mistakes did you guys catch yourself making at the end there that gave that map up to them?
Biggest mistake was keeping the op and then missed the shot and then leg him when Boy was flanked from B. That was the mistake, I guess. That's the only thing I can say. Just unlucky. Yeah, that's unlucky, I guess. Don't buy op most of the time. But you can buy op, but don't buy op. You know what I mean? Yeah, you know what I mean? Soba can use op also. You guys can buy.
All right, any other questions? Going once. All right, Dexter, go ahead.
Yeah, so you guys will be entering, I don't want to overhype this at all, but this is one of the largest series for you guys of this entire season. What do you guys do in order to calm down your nerves pre-match and, yeah, just maintain a sense of zen?
It's just like any other day for us, man. We had a little bit of nerves on the first day, but after that, like, it's literally just like scrimming for us. Like, we're all in our habitat, I guess. So we're pretty comfortable. We're gonna come in pretty confident.
All right, Scott, back to you.
This question is for either for one of the three of Vanity, Leaf, and Zeppa. You guys, it's been talked about a long time about, the plan for you guys coming out of Counter-Strike eventually was to reunite and play together after your Chaos days. What's that been like so far? I mean, obviously you guys are having fun. You guys are off to great success. But how would you say things are going so far in terms of what your initial expectations for playing together in Valorant have been like?
I don't know. I think Eric's pretty dumb compared to CS. I guess that's just the game, though. Ant's kind of the same.
I have to bait more in this game because I play.
Yeah, that's true.
I could entry in CS.
It's like the same personality. It's just like
Different play
you kind of have to,
styles.
you kind of have to find.
Like
yeah, you have to find what you play and like how you can play it to like the maximum potential, I guess.
Okay, Brandon, back to you.
Okay, this kind of goes and changes the subject a bit more towards the future of Valorant. I don't know how much you guys, with the tournament and everything, been able to kind of see about Chamber, the new agent, and then we may have Fracture joining the, the pool soon. What do you guys kind of think about the new agent, if you've seen anything, and possibly with Fracture joining the map pool, do you have any plans on playing it, or are you going to completely avoid it? Kind of what's your thoughts on that?
I mean, I don't know if we'll play it if we're in the qualifying for Champions. We'll probably play it at some point, maybe not at Champions. It's hard to know because we haven't touched the map at all really. Chamber, I think that agent looks awful, to be honest, but maybe it'll be good. It doesn't really look like it replaces any of the current agents in the meta, and that's like the big thing.
Depends on the. Yeah, I actually feel like somehow like we're gonna play it on one map just because because one of you two dumbasses is just gonna want to.
But yeah, I don't really think it's gonna be like a big like meta changing agent like Astra was or like Sky.
Okay. Any other questions for Cloud9? Going once. Going twice. Scott, under the.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, guys. This is my last one, I promise. Vanity, I love our interviews, so please don't start turning them down in the future. I actually did talk to both Vanity and Mitch earlier, so I wanted to ask the other guys this question too. What are your hopes for the future of both Valorant and Valorant Champions Tour this year? This can be, things you want to see change, new changes you want to see to either the game or to VCT as a whole.
I mean, for me, it's picks and bans, but somebody else could answer this. What do you want? Like the schedule?
I think you guys hit mute on accident.
We definitely can't hear you guys now.
I'm just unmuted.
There you go.
I mean, this is the first event I've played since switching, the first big event. I mean, I can't really say much about the scheduling or what to change or what I look up into the future. I mean, I just hope LAN events actually come and people don't actually follow COVID protocols, so we don't fuck it up. That's facts. But I mean, yeah, I hope to play on LAN eventually in the near future, and that's about it.
Okay. Any other questions for Cloud9? Going once, twice. All right. Cloud9, congratulations on the big win. We will see you tomorrow in our grand finals press conference, win or lose, but best of luck to you and have a good evening preparing.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.